As the owner of a six-figure handmade business, as well as someone who's scaled to multiple six figures with Etsy print on demand in less than 2 years, it goes without saying that I've always had to be super efficient with how I spend my time to make sure that I am reaching my goals while also making sure I'm not sacrificing my time as a busy mom and wife as well. So for today's video, I want to share 7 productivity hacks that I incorporate into my work and processes that have transformed the way I run my print-on-demand businesses, allow me to scale them faster, and minimize the overwhelm of accomplishing all of the things. In case we haven't met yet, my name is Mandy. I've started and stopped multiple entrepreneurial adventures in the span of more than a decade and learned a lot along the way. Now, as the owner of multiple businesses and an obsession with freedom from fulfillment using print on demand, my goal now is to provide you with strategies to simplify the journey so that you can stop the overwhelm, start making progress, and thrive with your print on demand business. The first one for me is huge, and that is because whether you're running another business, working full time somewhere else, or if you're a busy stay at home mom, you need to be able to fit in print on demand work in pockets of time. And not only that, you need to be able to maximize whatever time that you do have available. So, how do you do that? Time blocks. Time blocking is just a fancy term for dividing your day into segments or blocks dedicated to specific tasks or types of work. This approach helps you manage your time more effectively, ensuring that important tasks receive the attention they deserve. Now, when it comes to running a print on demand business, I have a few different key time blocks that I will designate and work within when I'm working on my print on demand businesses. So, whether I have 30 minutes of time, or an hour of time, or a glorious 2 hours of time, I know exactly what my priority is for that segment of time, and I can really focus and stay on task when it comes to that activity. For example, I frequently have a time block for researching. This includes researching demand on Etsy, researching niche related websites, looking at competition, studying niche specific topics or themes, coming up with some ideas, coming up with some new concepts or keywords that I want to research related to a particular niche. The amount of time I have available for the block may determine how much I can focus on, but this block is really all about research and idea formulation. I might start formulating in my head what type of designs might go with these concepts as I research and jot down some notes, but the intention is really focusing that block of time on hammering out the research. Another separate block of time will then be when I actually do my designs and my mockups based on the research and ideas I already started formulating. Because again, I've already got now some research and brainstorming started in my brain, so it's a lot easier to then start formulating designs and concepts for those ideas and niches when I actually get to my block of design and mockup time. From there, I have a block of time where I'm doing the actual listing, another block of time that I might designate to following up with orders or customers, and so on. During these blocks of time, I typically try to minimize distractions. For example, avoiding the temptation of notifications on my phone or staying off of social media to avoid doom scrolling. Yeah, I see you. I know you're right there with me too. And I say try because I'm not always successful, and that's okay too. We need to give ourselves grace as humans. But again, the goal here is to do your best to try and block out as much time as you can, have this designated focus for each of these different activities, and then strive for progress, not perfection. This is what will ultimately help move your business forward and help you scale faster. Within these time blocks, one of the key things I'm doing is working in batches, which is productivity hack number 2. Time blocks are about designating your time, but batching is about maximizing your time. For example, designing in batches, creating mockups in batches, listing in batches, planning your social media in batches. An example of design batching is creating a set of several different designs back to back. And when I do this, I typically work on one niche or theme for a batch so that I'm in the zone and have a similar customer in mind for each of the designs. Then from there, I'll carry that batch of designs forward and batch a set of mockups for each of them. And then in another time block, I will batch getting that same set of designs all uploaded into Printify and so on. When I'm batching my work, it allows me to work very efficiently, even on the days when I have very little time to spend working on growing my business. This concept of batching within time blocks reduces the amount of context switching that your brain does when you are switching from task to task. So, this ultimately allows you to stay more focused, and therefore, your workflow is a lot more streamlined. If you want to take a deeper dive into my time blocking and batching methods, I'll link my full series on that below, where I have a separate video for each step of the process that I take. And this leads me into my next productivity hack: create templates. One thing that can make the batching process go even faster is to create templates for certain parts of the process. Templates can be used in a variety of ways in your business, but some of the key areas for me are for listing descriptions so that I can easily grab one for each listing, saved replies for frequent customer questions or issues, and mockup templates. Mockup templates are by far the biggest time saver for each one of these, and I'll show you why. I actually keep all of my mockups in one single file per product type in Canva. So, for example, all of my Gildan 18,000 mockups are loaded and saved into one single design file. I keep them all in one single file, not folder, file in Canva. So that way, when I'm ready to make a new mockup for a new design, I simply grab that file, copy it, delete any of the colors or mockups that I don't need, and I'm ready to go. I've got my size and color chart in there as well. And so I do that for every single different type of mockup styles that I have for different products. So I have one file for my Gildan 18,000 mockups. I also have another one for my Comfort Colors t-shirt mockups. I still offer a few Gildan 64,000s as well. So I have a mockup template for those too. And again, for each of these, I've got my size chart, color chart in there, ready to roll all together. I also keep these mockup files sized to Etsy optimized listings. I get a lot of questions about this, and currently I'm still using a rectangle ratio of about 2200 by 2025 in terms of pixel size. Etsy switched last year to showing square images in the searches, but they also say that some areas still use a rectangle. And they also say that your listing photos should be able to work for both ratios. Therefore, I find that the sizing of images tends to crop better when it's a rectangle getting cropped into a square. I lose much less of the image itself. So I essentially just make sure that my image isn't zoomed in too far and that all of my important details are not on the outer edges. When I'm ready to make mockups for a listing, again, I simply copy the mockup template and add my design for each of the images. I typically make sure I have 8 to 10 depending on how full I've got that mockup file, and I've got them all ready to go. I've got my image in there, I've got my transparency adjusted, and I export the whole thing as one JPEG file so that when I get to my Etsy listing to finalize it, I'm literally just grabbing one file folder that I saved and I'm uploading all my images in one shot. It makes it so much faster, and I literally just have everything ready to go in one file. I'm not jumping around between folders. I'm not trying to find it in one program and pull another one from over here. All together, all at once, super, super streamlined. Which then leads me to my next productivity hack. Literally taking the mockup file that I just created and I'm saving it as a video. So you remember that file that we talked about where I have one for each design and I've got a set of mockups in there and it's typically got around 8 to 10 images? I change each of those images to 1 second using the duration function in Canva. And then I export the whole thing as an MP4 video. And so in less than 60 seconds, I've created a listing video for my Etsy listing. Etsy has said that statistically, listings with videos convert to sales twice as much as listings with just photos. And I believe this has everything to do with the fact that it catches customer attention when they're scrolling. Listing videos create movement on the screen when you hover over them, so it immediately draws your eye to that movement. Whereas if it were a still image, that customer might have just kept scrolling. Etsy also says that a much smaller segment of sellers use listing videos, which means it can also give you a competitive advantage. And I did it all without any extra time or effort really involved other than a couple clicks. I honestly used to hate making mock-up listing videos when I first started with print on demand. In fact, for the longest time, I didn't even have any because I'm like, who has the time to go create some sort of cute little video on top of everything else that we're doing? But with just a couple clicks with a file that I'm already creating for my listing and adding that as a video, now that I can do. Again, I'm all about keeping it simple, being super efficient, and getting it done. Moving right along, my fifth productivity hack is keeping a running list of all of my niche ideas, design ideas, and anything else related all in one place. I'm an Apple girl, so I use the Notes app because it's already on my phone, it's on my iPad, it's on my MacBook, everywhere I have an Apple device. It's right there and super accessible, and it syncs across all of them. I have different folders for different shops, and then within those, I have different notes related to ideas or concepts that I might want to pursue that I've just jotted down whenever they might have come to me. I know there are plenty of apps out there that do the exact same thing that can be used on any device, and some people also like to use spreadsheets or other more advanced methods for keeping track of their ideas and different niches. But I know myself, and I know that if it gets too complicated or if I have to go find it in some other folder, I won't do it. Believe it or not, I am someone who gets major squirrel brain. So if I can't get to someplace quick to jot down a note quickly, my brain will move on to the next thing and I'll totally lose my train of thought. So for me, this is what has worked super well so that I can just keep adding to a running list at any given time and then also access it whenever I'm ready to work on designs or research. It's also great for those times where I'm at a grocery store or I see a spark of inspiration somewhere. I can whip out my phone, jot it down, or even save a picture to it and then move on. Or perhaps I'm in the middle of a design batch for one niche and I'm struck by an idea for something different in another niche. I don't want to stop and bounce into another idea while I'm in the middle of a batch or designated time block. So instead, I make a quick note, close it out, and then go back to whatever I was doing so that I'm not interrupting my flow and my brain can stay focused on the design or whatever process is at hand. We want to designate our time for that, and we want to have a way to still hold on to those ideas, but not have it interrupt what we're in the middle of doing elsewhere. My sixth productivity hack actually serves a couple purposes, and that is keeping my products and offerings streamlined. So what I mean by that is, for example, I sell Comfort Colors t-shirts as one of my product offerings. In fact, it's one of my main product offerings these days, along with sweatshirts. These two product types are where I start 99% of my designs. Within these, I try to offer no more than 6 to 8 different shirt color variations for each design. And then I typically don't scale to another product type like a tote or a mug until I start seeing traction with a design. The reason I take this approach of selective color choices as well as having primary product offerings is twofold. One, as a customer, there is such a thing as decision fatigue, and that means that a customer will have so much trouble making a decision on something that they end up not making a decision at all, and they exit the sale, or they think, I'm going to think on this and come back to it, and they don't. And that is not what we want to happen if we can prevent it. And so it's a bit of a retail psychology thing, but it is true. And so I do try to keep color choices and product offerings streamlined in that sense. The second way that it helps me be productive, though, is it helps to streamline my design and listing process. Different products have different mockups, different prices, different shipping costs, different keywords, different descriptions. So, again, when we think about scaling faster and more efficiently, streamlining your product offerings means that you are also streamlining the design and listing process at the same time. Similarly, offering a ton of products with a ton of different designs for a ton of different niches can start to become a bit cluttered in your shop for customers to navigate as well, especially as you're just starting out and trying to create some cohesion and get some traction going in your shop. This doesn't mean that you can't eventually scale to additional products as designs sell. You absolutely can and should once you have some proven designs and niches. But again, as you're creating initial listings, initial designs, and you're working on growing efficiently, then having that product offering streamlined will really go a long way, both for you as well as for your customer. And finally, number 7, which is the one that you will hear me preach again and again because it is so important. And not only does it help you be more successful in your business, it ultimately helps you be more productive as well. And that is making data-driven decisions within your shop. So that means doing your research, studying demand in the marketplace, doing your homework when it comes to niches and keywords and SEO to give your shop the best chance of success. It also means looking at your shop stats and your Etsy ad stats if you've got those turned on, and the keywords and the data that they have. It's looking at visits and favorites and eventually sales so that you start to understand which directions to continue moving towards. You've got lots of great data at your fingertips. So the more that you can use that information to direct the types of products that you're creating, the types of designs that you're using, the types of niches and keywords that you're implementing in your shop, the more you can use the data and inform decisions for that, the less you'll be throwing spaghetti at a wall. If you're getting out there and spending all of your precious time creating listings, creating designs, creating products, doing all of that work and spending hours and hours of time doing that without having done any research, without studying what customers actually want, without putting in any effort into keywords or what's actually going to be profitable and help you scale or faster, you probably just spent a lot of time wasting time. And when we talk about productivity, we're talking about activities that are going to be the most efficient and yield the best potential results. And the only way to do that is by making those data-driven decisions, by doing your research to see where it points, by looking at your shop, seeing what's working or potentially not working, by making adjustments and decisions based on that, and by continuing to make progress and move forward with intention. And there you have it, my 7 productivity hacks, my not so secret time savers now for running my Etsy print on demand shops in just pockets of time. I hope this has been helpful for you. Let me know in the comments if you have your own productivity hacks. I'd love to hear about them. I'm also super excited to share that later this summer, a brand new course will be launching inside my Simply Thrive Club membership. I'm in the process of recording it right now, and it will be all about taking you from overwhelmed to in control so that you can unlock the secrets to managing your time, mastering your mindset, aligning your goals, and building habits of success that last in order to thrive in your Etsy business. In addition to all of the resources, templates, niche and trend reports, and group coaching that's already packed into the membership, each month I also host a new masterclass to cover the biggest topics related to operating a successful print-on-demand business. Access to the membership is always open, but be sure to be on the lookout for more information when the new course is available. Consider this your personal invitation to join me over in the club. In the meantime, be sure to check out my free print on demand course in the description. Stay focused, my friends. keep taking action, and never stop pursuing excellence in your business. Thanks for watching. I'm so glad you're here, and I'll see you in the next one.